Ah, the Legend of Zelda franchise. Where do I even begin? One of Nintendo's largest and best-selling franchises, starring a little elven boy on a quest to save a princess and defeat an evil wizard. This is one of Nintendo's larger franchises, having 16 separate titles to its name. While there's no doubt that many of these titles were downright epic, suffice to say, some were not.
Yeah, that old Ganon's no match for the king. Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! I just saved you from Ganon! Golly, I guess that's worth a kiss, huh? I won!
Yeah. Well, in this video, I will be taking a look at the first Zelda title to be released on the GameCube, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. But first, I should preface this video by saying this. I never actually played this game when I was younger. Now, it wasn't because I never had the opportunity to, nor was it because I didn't like the Zelda series, as I loved Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So why didn't I play it? Well, did you ever have a video game that you wouldn't play simply because of the art style? Well, the game for me was Wind Waker. Honestly, seeing this cartoony art style after playing the epic Ocarina of Time and the dark Majora's Mask really turned me off to the whole idea of this game. But that's all in the past, and here we are in 2011, looking at a game that came out in 2003. So, without further ado, here is my review of The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. This game starts off telling the story of the Hero of Time. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The legend says that after the Hero of Time had slain the evil wizard Ganondorf, he disappeared and was nowhere to be found when Hyrule was attacked by Ganondorf once again. Once it seemed that Ganondorf had assumed control, a massive flood covered the land, effectively destroying the kingdom. Flash forward to when this game takes place. On a certain island in a massive ocean, a young man is coming of age. It is customary on this island for young men at a certain age to receive a certain green outfit. Now, where have I seen this before? At the same time, a group of pirates arrive on the island as their leader has been kidnapped by a giant eagle. Once the young man rescues her, the eagle then proceeds to kidnap our hero's sister. Upon following the eagle, it is then revealed who is behind all of this. Ganondorf. I am shocked, I tell you. Our hero is then launched into the ocean, where he meets a sentient boat named the King of Red Lions. I would comment on how strange this is, but I've just reviewed a game that features two women with phonetically identical names, talking sheep, and flying blocks. Nothing surprises me anymore. Soon, the hero obtains his secret weapon, the Wind Waker. This is essentially just a conductor's baton, and it can be used similarly to the Ocarina of Time. So, with the Wind Waker and his boat by his side, our hero sets sail to save his sister and save the land. Now, there actually is a lot more to the story than I'm letting on, but honestly, the story is very interesting and very well put together, and I would really be doing you a disservice if I told you too much of it. This game takes place in a fairly large area, most of which is covered in water. So this is where the sailing comes in. The sailing is fairly straightforward. All you need is a sail, and for the wind to be on your side. But how do you manipulate the wind? Well, this is where the Wind Waker comes in. The Wind Waker is used by pointing the C-stick in a certain direction every time the cursor at the top of the screen reaches the center. Similarly to the Ocarina of Time, each song you play will have different effects. For instance, you can change the direction of the wind at any time in order to make sailing easier. You can assume control of certain allies. You can teleport to certain locations, and much more. Each tune has 3, 4, or 6 notes to be played. Along with just your Wind Waker, you also have the standard tools of the Zelda trade. For instance, you have your standard sword and shield, along with your grappling hook, hookshot, boomerang, bow and arrows, and much more. Like all of the other Zelda games, many of the enemies and bosses require the use of different weapons or tools in order to defeat them. Overall, the area is divided into 49 different squares, and each square has a various number of islands. These islands vary from large islands that house entire cities, to minor islands which allow you to find mini-dungeons or mini-quests. Along with just exploring the islands, you can also search the seas for treasure. Many times in your adventures, you will find maps that will lead you to said treasure. Once found, these maps lead to chests in the ocean, which contain prizes such as rupees or heart pieces. How long it will take you to beat this game depends on a few variables. if you are used to playing Zelda titles and decide not to do many of the side quests, then this game will probably take you around 15 hours. If you aren't used to the Zelda games, or like to do a lot of exploration, then you're probably looking around 20 plus hours. Now for the reviewing. The gameplay in this title is fairly straightforward. The sailing and use of items are all fairly simple, as all you need to do is take an item from your inventory and temporarily map it to one of 3 buttons for quick use. The combat is also fairly straightforward. You have the ability to lock onto specific enemies, and you can perform various types of attacks by using the A or B button in conjunction with the control stick. Due to being able to easily map your various weapons, such as your bombs, your boomerang, and your bow, combat is very streamlined, as you can easily switch to other weapons without interrupting combat. As for the graphics, I can't really say that I have any complaints. The cel-shaded and cartoonish graphics may make the game look a bit more childish, but they are all very well rendered, and this game does have a very bright and colorful look to it. However, like most games, this game does have some flaws. Now, before I picked up this game, I was warned constantly that the worst part about this game was the sailing. A large portion of this game is in fact dedicated to sailing to different locations, and sometimes it requires quite a bit of backtracking. While I do understand where people are coming from with this complaint, I do have to say that the sailing really didn't bother me all that much. It can get old after a while, but you can eventually obtain a song which will let you teleport to certain locations. And also, I kind of found the sailing to be relaxing after a while. But what really bothered me about this game, however, was the save system. Now, to be fair, it is the exact same system as Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and if you don't remember how that worked, here's the rundown. While playing this game, you can save at any point. However, if you die, or more likely have to shut down your system during a dungeon crawl, then, when you respawn, you will respawn at the dungeon's entrance. Everything you did in the dungeon will be saved, but you will probably still have to traverse through the whole thing again, and face the same enemies again. To be fair, there are cauldrons in each dungeon which will teleport you to just outside of the boss's chambers, but if you fail to reach this location beforehand, well, tough shit. These issues aside, do I recommend this game? Well, that's pretty simple. If you're a Zelda fan and haven't got around to playing this title yet, then I recommend it. If you haven't played any of the other Zelda titles, I wouldn't recommend this as a starting point, as it does follow up on the events of the Nintendo 64 Zelda titles, but you will probably get some enjoyment out of this if you're just a fan of fantasy adventure games. You will have to find a copy of this game on GameCube only, as it isn't on the Wii Store as of yet. And honestly, good luck. Trust me, I had a lot of trouble tracking this game down, as many people tend not to want to give up their copies of it. So, if you're willing to go on a quest in order to go on a quest, I'd say this game is worth it. So, until next time, this has been E-Dog, the hero of the winds. Yeah, you know, I like that title. I think I'm keeping it. This is E-Dog, hero of the winds. See you next time.